I really see this team sitting with 3 cornerstones at the start of 2027. Welcome back to the desk.
Welcome back, baby.
All right, today we're going to do our first roster review. Shout out to Half Chuba for sending this in. Guys, if anyone else who's watching these videos wants to do the same, it's going to follow a similar format to today. We're going to pop up our grid, have his team placed in different areas here, and we'll be able to see, is Half Chuba going for it this year? Or is he a rebuilder, or is he somewhere in between? So that's kind of the idea, and then to follow it up at the end with maybe some moves that he can make during the year to solidify either that going for a position or retooling for future years.
Yeah, absolutely. So we should have Half Chuba up on the screen now, and it looks like he's made it pretty easy for us. He did say in the notes that he's a rebuilder, and that makes sense based on what I'm seeing on the grid here. Most of his guys are sort of in the middle section, maybe a little bit to the right. Really only one cornerstone asset, and that's the 101 this year. But there are some bright spots in addition to the 101. Love to see Tet in the Ascendant category. Same with the 103. And he does have his own 27 first in the investment category. We're going to be able to turn that into a cornerstone next year. So all things considered, I think if you commit to the rebuild, you're going to be looking up at another competitive roster again in 2027, Chuba.
Yeah, I would fully agree. Some of the other areas to call out, we do have Jalen Hurts, who I would kind of put in that prime producer category for the moment. We got Chuba Hubbard, who is he should be set up for a good year this year.
Yeah, I
So,
think he's sort of on like the high-end rentals.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, a couple areas where, he's going to have production this year and maybe be able to flip some of these assets to kind of commit to that rebuild.
Well, let's hop into it here.
Let's do it.
So a couple folks that we mentioned we might want to move. Let's look at Chuba first. I'm seeing a couple of rosters here for competitors that might actually want that running back. This 2025 Giants roster has Travis Hunter and not a whole lot else behind Ashton Genty at running back. I don't mind that flip 1-for-1 or Michael Wilson 1-for-1. He's got Chase, Egbuka, McConkey, Waddle, McLaurin. Hunter and Michael Wilson are never seeing his starting lineup, but Chuba would.
Yep.
So that's a pretty easy flip. I like pairing Chuba with guys like Jalen Hurts. If you could convince Vaca that he is competing, I know he's at the bottom of the value list, but he's got Kyron, he's got Henry, he's got Daniel Jones, Christian Watson, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs. If he thinks, shoot, I'm going for it. I don't mind Hurts and Chuba for Bo Nix and his 27 first.
Yeah. And the idea being, right, with flipping Chuba is we're seeing him at kind of his peak value of fantasy. If we're not looking at this year, next year, right? Yep. Saying, okay, he's going to have the backfield to himself this year, or for the most part to prove that it's his backfield. He's what, 26, 27? Yep. The Panthers have added receiver pieces. They have a better offensive line. This is Chuba's year. Next year, they could bring another running back into the mix. A lot could happen. And he's getting older, and we know that his running backs hit that kind of 28, 29. Their value is going to start to go way down. So you're rebuilding, flipping Chuba, which may be hard because of your team name. I understand that. But, flipping Chuba at his peak seems like a really interesting play here.
Yeah, I don't mind pairing Chuba with one of those receivers like Parker Washington, Jaden Reed, and getting a draft pick either in 2027 or even like a 108, 109, 110 this year, maybe
Mhm.
Team XX. If you could turn that 110 pick that you get from his roster into Omar Cooper or Ty Simpson, I think those guys will probably have a rough 2026,
Mhm.
but they could be value wins in the future. And again, Chuba's not doing much on your roster positively at the moment. I also don't hate like giving Chuba and Rashad White to WRU for like Jaden Higgins in a 27 second.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's talk about Rashad White for a second because he has a change of scenery.
he does.
Washington Commander should be a better offense this year for the Commanders and a much more favorable schedule. So, why would you be looking to flip White here?
That's a similar situation as Chuba. I think they're both competent running backs. I think they could start in their backfields, but they're they're not going to be the, Saquon Barkley type running back ever, where
Hmm.
they're making it to 28, 29 and really making a difference on your roster.
Hmm.
I would want to clear out the running back room so that I would guarantee myself like a 101, 102 pick, put it into an asset that is either a rookie or a wide receiver or quarterback, something that has a little bit longer shelf life. And then if I have to reshuffle it around again next year to buy some running backs, totally fine with it.
So, idea being, if we're looking at our grid, White and Chuba, you can make an argument for low range, low mid range anchor or higher range rental, right?
Yeah.
Both of them. So, idea being is taking both of those as a rebuilder team and moving out of that left hand, good players, but left hand side of that grid towards either mid anchor or even like low ascendant kind of
Yeah.
range.
Yeah. Even like seedling type
Yeah.
player. Like that's where I put Omar Cooper Jr. and Ty Simpson in that
Mhm.
category. Totally fine with it. You
Mhm.
can't expect to trade these guys for your Jameer Gibbs and
No,
Jamar Chase and things like that.
no.
Speaking of, though, you do have some high end assets. I want to talk about your 101 because I don't hate taking Jeremiah Love, making him a cornerstone on your team, and running with it. But you've got the most valuable asset in the rookie class. You may as well shop the pick around and see what you can get for it. Because I think there's a couple deals in this league that could make sense for you.
Mhm.
Tell me about your idea with Chob Mafia's team and Hampton.
I mean, I look at it and it I don't know if this would fly, but if you could shop your 101 Jeremiah Love for Amari and Hampton and Child Mafia's 2027 first,
First.
I think this is an interesting play for two reasons. One, Jeremiah Love, I think he's awesome. I think he's on a really rough team. I think Amari and Hampton's situation from a running back standpoint is much better than Jeremiah Love's. And two, the 2027 class is going to be much stronger than the 2026 class. And so if Chop's pick in 2027 is in that first five, you're going to get a great player. I don't know where and even if it's later, you're still lined up to get a much better player later than this year where you were talking about Ty Simpson, right? I
Yeah,
think
I
you're
mean, it looks like Chop got the 107 this year.
okay.
But this is a 10-team league, so regardless, it's going
Oh,
to be a top 10 pick in
yeah. Yeah.
next year's class.
And the 2027 number 10 pick is going to be a heck of a lot better than Dyson.
Yeah.
So,
I do see as well another rebuilder in your league that is maybe a little bit further along or a little bit higher value. And it's MS Pucci. Anyway, they've got the 102 this year, but they've got a bunch of 27 firsts. Or maybe that's not their name. It's Grubino is their name, but they have the 27 firsts for themselves, MS Pucci, Jacob, and GT20. So 427 firsts. I would go to this guy and say, look, you've got the 27 firsts for the two juggernauts in this league. I'll give you Jeremiah Love if you give me the 102 and both of those 27 firsts. Now, it's a different caliber asset. Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson are not the same player as Jeremiah Love by any means. But I think you're in a position, if you want to diversify that pick down and get a slew of solid players from it. And
I think it's worth shopping.
That a couple of them hit.
Yeah. Worth shopping. But at the end of the day, if you decide to take Jeremiah Love too.
Yeah, don't hate it. Don't hate it at all.
Let's talk one other guy specifically, and that is his number 2 wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
So this is a dicey one. And I know you especially are kind of on the fence here.
Well, okay. Here's my thing. The Cardinals offense next year, I don't think will be able to support 3 fantasy stars. Jeremiah Love, we expect to be a fantasy star. Trey McBride, we know is a fantasy star. So you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. and, frankly, Michael Wilson, who outperformed him last year when Brissett was the quarterback, fighting to be that third producer on the offense. If Marvin Harrison isn't performing early in this year, hold him, because that situation could improve when they draft Dante Moore or Arch Manning or whoever in 2027. But if Marvin Harrison comes out of the gate hot, let's say he starts the year with, game 1, 6 catches, 100 yards. Game 2, 4 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. Game 3, breakout where he goes for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? He's averaging 20 points a game for the first few weeks.
He's finally doing what people said he's going to do.
Yeah. For me, I think you cash it in. I think you say, thank you, Marvin Harrison, for giving me this big return. And the structure of the deal that I'll throw out is one that I made on a rebuild last year, where in week 6, I traded a Meka Egbuka for Travion Henderson and a 26 first. And it was a team that was struggling. They were 1-5 at the time. So that pick ended up being the 102. So getting a guy that was hot, trading him for a future pick and a player that was like slightly underperforming, I'm imagining, let's say Jordan Tyson gets off to a slow start or something like that. You can do Marvin Harrison up to Jordan Tyson plus a little bit. Doesn't even have to be a high first round pick. I'm okay just cashing in on something that's going to be really value insulated. And those wide receivers that go in that 102, 103, 104 range, I think even if they have a slow first year, they'll be fine in terms of their value. I mean, Tet scored, 13 points a game last season? Yeah. And he went up in value. He's a
right. We're talking about him as a high ascendant right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't hate that. The last asset we can talk about is the 103. You've got it on your team. Again, totally fine with you taking Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon at this spot. I'd look at Chubb Mafia's team and say, hey, man, BTJ is not going to start for you. And the 107, Casey Concepcion or Jadarian Price or Fernando Mendoza, it's going to be one of those guys that's there. Also isn't going to start for you. Do you want the 103 for those two? And take the upside shot on BTJ plus one of those other guys slightly later in the rookie draft. I think the 107, 108 is a pretty hard cutoff in this year's class, but you're still getting a pretty decent guy if you want to do that down tier.
And I like the upside on BTJ this year. I mean, last year he was hot hot commodity, right? It's like second round pick in a startup,
Yep.
so his fall from grace, considering how well the Jags actually were last year. I mean, a lot better than a lot of people anticipated. I I like that. I like buying him basically at his low and letting
Yep.
him come back. Um, yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. And
Cool, man. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
no, my only final thought is I look at your mid-tier receiver group,
Oh yeah.
Worthy, Golden, Washington, Reed, Coker. To me, that's all roughly the same player.
Yeah.
Meaning, one week could be 18, 20. Next week, it could be 6, 7,
Yep.
right? Like that kind of high variability, pretty high ceiling.
Yep.
And when we look at our grid, I would say a lot of those players are, what?
Low end anchor,
Yeah,
low end seedling sort
yeah.
of
So
asset. Yeah.
it, similar to what Cam was just saying about MHJ, if a couple of those guys start off hot or on a little bit of a streak and you can do a package and a package and upgrade into a more structured anchor or a lower ascendant or something that maybe gives you some higher end upside in future years, I would like that play because, none of those guys scream guaranteed week over week starter to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be looking at any kind of marketplace, any of those guys that put together 2 or 3 weeks in a row of
Yeah.
their 20-point production on the block immediately.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
again, appreciate you sending in a roster. This was fun. I'd love to hear your comments from this on what you think our takes are, and for all those tuning in, we're happy to do this for your team too. We'd love to see them. So let
Yeah,
us know.
Google Forms in the description. If you made it to the end, like, subscribe, do the YouTube things, and we'll
Absolutely.
see you next time.
Till next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.